For those that watched Easy Rider to Sons of Anarchy, motorcycles have always had that powerful, independent, and free-spirited feeling. And one of the top brands to capture that feeling is Indian Motorcycles. So we are going on a road trip to Weird on today's episode of 5 Weird Things. Welcome to the channel. I grew up riding motorcycles in the desert with my dad and my brothers. Dad was a desert racer who owned Indian Motorcycles. He was even an Indian dealer to get the best price. Now, we never had Harleys because they never made a dirt bike. My first motorcycle was an Indian Bambino, kind of a glorified mini bike, but it looked like a regular bike. It was tiny, but I was about 8 and I was tiny too. Got any Indian motorcycle stories? Ever seen an Indian motorcycle? Let me know in the comments. All right, let's get into it. First, the stuff we should all know. Indian Motorcycle Company was founded by George Handy and Oscar Hedstrom in Springfield, Massachusetts, USA. Indian motorcycles gained a reputation for their performance and reliability. They were widely used by police forces and the military, further contributing to the brand's success. Indian Motorcycles had a strong presence in motorcycle racing, winning numerous championships and setting speed records. Despite going through several declines and rebirths, it wasn't until 2011 that Polaris Industries, a major American powersports company, acquired the Indian Motorcycle brand and began building it back to prominence in the modern motorcycle industry. All right, weird thing number 5. Indian Motorcycles were the first American brand motorcycle. Originally founded in 1901, the company initially focused on building bicycles, but soon shifted its focus to motorcycles. The first Indian motorcycle was produced in 1902, featuring a chain-driven rear wheel and single-cylinder engine, and later that year, an Indian motorcycle won an endurance race from Boston to New York City in its public racing debut. This marked the beginning of Indian's legacy in the motorcycle industry. Weird thing number 4. Indian motorcycle obsession. Indian riders are known for their devotion to the brand. With that devotion comes some possibly delusional claims. Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. It was written about a Honda motorcycle, but many Indian riders claim otherwise, that the spirit is inherently Indian motorcycles. Many riders claim their bike whispers words of encouragement during long rides. Some claim that Indian motorcycles are time machines, transporting the rider back to better times, simpler times, to the salad days, if you will. There's also the claim that riding an Indian bike will make you better looking to the opposite sex. Now, I have no proof that any of this is true, but it was on the internet. That makes it official. Weird thing number 3, the V-twin engine. Without going into a ton of engineering detail, let's just say that the V-twin has been the go-to design for motorcycle engines since forever. Now, the original design, 1901 to 1907, the first Indian motorcycles were powered by single-cylinder engines, but by 1907, the company produced its first V-twin engine. Now, the F-head and the big twin, that was 1908 to 1924, Indian transitioned to an F-head, which is intake over exhaust, designed for its V-twin engines. In 1911, Indian introduced the 61 cubic inch, which is a 1000 cc big twin, which became a popular and iconic power plant for the brand. The Chief Series, 1922 to 1953, the Indian Chief, produced in 1922, featured a 74 cubic inch, which was 1200 cc V-twin engine. Over the years, the Chief Series became one of Indian's most famous models, and the V-twin engine evolved with improvements in performance and design. 4-cylinder models, 1928 to 1942. In addition to the V-twins, Indian introduced 4-cylinder motorcycles, such as the Indian 402 and Indian 4, during the late 1920s and 1930s. These models aimed to compete with the likes of Harley-Davidson and featured a unique 4-cylinder engine. Weird thing number 2. Indian Motorcycles has gone under more than a few times. 1953. The original Indian Motorcycle Company faced financial trouble and ultimately ceased production in 1953. This marked the end of the first era of Indian motorcycles. The 1960s to the 1990s and the decades following the closure in 1953, the Indian Motorcycle brand changed hands multiple times. Various attempts were made to revive the company. However, the efforts were often short-lived and the brand did not achieve sustained success during this period. 1997, the Indian Motorcycle Corporation, under new ownership, attempted to revive the brand and produce motorcycles for a brief period. However, financial difficulties led to the closure of operations in 2003. Now, 2011, stability arrived. Indian Motorcycle faced another revival when Polaris Industries acquired the brand. Polaris invested in redesigning and reintroducing Indian motorcycles to the market. The acquisition by Polaris marked a turning point, leading to the current era of Indian Motorcycle. And finally, weird thing number 1. Indian was big with the government. World War I. During World War I, Indian motorcycles were used by various military forces, including the United States military. The lightweight and versatile nature of motorcycles made them suitable for reconnaissance, messenger duties, and other military applications. Military contracts. Indian Motorcycle, like its competitor Harley-Davidson, secured contracts from the U.S. military during both World I and World War II. These contracts involved the production and supply of motorcycles for military use. World War II. Indian motorcycles, being the iconic Indian Chief and Scout models, were used by the U.S. military during World War II. These motorcycles played a crucial role in the various theaters of war, providing a reliable means of transportation for troops and messengers. Police and law enforcement. In addition to military use, Indian motorcycles were widely adopted by police forces and law enforcement agencies. Their reliability and performance made them popular for patrolling and other law enforcement duties. Well, that's it for today's episode. I hope you liked it. This was a subject that was near and dear to my heart. As I mentioned, I grew up riding motorcycles. They're shiny, they're beautiful, gotta have one. Now, whether you liked or hated this video, let me know down in the comments. Always looking for new video ideas. And if you're still paying attention, today's code word is V-twin. Thank you much. Have yourself a great night.